to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Just want to say that today I'll have a few videos up on the page. Probably at least one more Giants-related video. Also have a video up on the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, my thoughts on that situation, as well as potentially a New York Mets video on Starling Marte, which I've been meaning to put up for a while, being that I'm a big Mets fan. Also, tonight I will be live streaming the Knicks game with a Giants Q&A tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So hope to see you guys there for that. But in this video, we are going to talk about the 2019 New York Giants offensive line and how disappointing this unit has been. Going into the year, all I heard from Dave Gettleman and the New York Giants, and us fans alike, was how much better this unit was going to be. Of course, we added Kevin Zeitler, one of the better guards in football. We had Will Hernandez coming back for a second season with a very promising start to his career. Nate Solder looked great in the second half, along with Hernandez, as they developed some chemistry there on the left side in the 2018 season. We got Jalapeno back, and we added Mike Remmers, who was transferring back to his natural position, and we hoped he could at least be an okay right tackle. Well, very few things have gone right for this offensive line. It started off good. In the preseason, they looked like a strong unit. We heard all good things leading up into the season. The first two games going against two very good defenses, they played very well going against the Cowboys and the Bills. The Bills, we saw what they did yesterday against the Dallas Cowboys, looked to be, maybe the best defense in football. And the Giants offensive line handled them pretty well in both run and pass protection. But then it kind of just fell off. Now, some of that maybe could be attributed to Daniel Jones, and, he's new. He maybe doesn't read defenses as well as an Eli Manning does. Some of it could be attributed to the Saquon Barkley injury, but regardless, the way this offensive line has performed has been unacceptable. I mean, I think Zeitler is the highest graded one in PFF at a 70, and I'm going to get into the individual numbers, but what I wanted to talk about in this video is whether or not the New York Giants are going to have to do in the offseason, and I think they're going to have to pay so much attention in free agency to the offensive line. It is by far the biggest problem on this football team. All we've heard since he's gotten here, yes, he says all the right things, and I love Dave Gettleman's philosophy, or supposed philosophy, but he's got to back it up. This offensive line has not improved, and this year he's got to put his money where his mouth is, and he's got to hit in free agency, and he's got to hit in the draft. The Giants have a ton of picks. They have to spend early picks on the offensive line, whether that means taking Andrew Thomas if we get the fourth selection, whether that means trading down and accumulating assets and picking up offensive linemen that way. But, a large portion of our cap right now is going to offensive linemen who really are not producing. I mean, Solder's going to make $20 million next year. Zeitler's been pretty solid. He's going to make 11 or 12. Remmers, I don't think will be back. And we have, two cost-effective players there in Hernandez and Jalapeno. But I think that they probably add a center in the draft or free agency early on. I think they're going to need to do that. And Andrew Thomas may very well be the guy if we are not able to get Chase Young, or maybe they even take him over Chase Young, seeing how big of a need that is for the New York Giants. I've been on record of saying I would take Chase Young. I think he's too good of a talent. But Andrew Thomas is phenomenal as well. I don't think he's allowed a hit all year on his quarterback in the SEC with Georgia. So certainly a big-time talent there, and he would be welcomed with open arms to a franchise who really has not had a good offensive line in the last 10 years. It's been a huge problem for the Giants, and it doesn't seem to be improving. The Giants need to pay heavy focus to that this year. But let's jump into the offensive line, and let's look at the initial quote. One of the initial quotes when Dave Gettleman first got here. All we heard about were hog mollies, right? We've got to fix the O-line. Let's be honest, Giants GM Dave Gettleman said upon his arrival to East Rutherford in December 2017. Let's not kid each other. I told you at the top, big men allow you to compete, and that's what we've got to fix. And everybody loved hearing that. We welcome Dave with open arms, but has he fixed it? I mean, when you look at the numbers, which are right here, most would say not. There they are in run blocking. Well, if you look right under Jacksonville, that number 25, that's the New York Giants. They rank 25th in run blocking for the year. And that's after getting off to a great start. I believe they were number one in the league the first 2 weeks of the year. So probably since then, they're probably right around the bottom of the league. And of course, we all have seen how Saquon Barkley's had very few holes to run behind. Not making excuses for Saquon. He hasn't run well, and Saquon wouldn't want me to make excuses for him. But the offensive line has not performed nearly as well as most would have anticipated. And then when it comes to pass protection, it's not much better. You look at that number next to the New York Giants on the right, they rank 23rd. And they've surrendered 35 sacks, I believe, on the year. The offense, Solder being the worst culprit, surrendering 9 there on the left tackle spot. So the offensive line has really not performed at all, and they have not come close to initial expectations when the year started. Andrew Thomas may very well be the guy who is the guy we build around for the next 5-6 years on the offensive line. We need to get younger there. When you look at Zeitler, he's around 30. When you look at Solder, I think he's going to be 32 next year. So we got to get younger in the trenches, and we got to get much, much stronger. So we'll see what they do. They could, of course, always go out there and add a Conklin who will only be 26, but that's got to be the Gettleman's got to live up to his what he said when he first took the job. Got to do it. Well, all he talked about was the trenches, the hog mollies, the offensive line. We have to improve it. It's been neglected for years. Well, Gettleman, so far, the first 2 years, you could argue that you've neglected it. You've signed bad contracts. You signed Patrick Omameh last year, a complete bust. And now this year, Remmers hasn't worked out. Solder's been a horrible free agency signing. And yes, we know you have to sign somebody, but it doesn't mean you can't be criticized for the way that he has performed. Hernandez has been pretty good, but overall, the O-line has been a complete failure this year. And that's what Dave Gettleman's strong suit was supposed to be, what he was focusing on more so than anything. And he has to be taken to task for it. And hopefully this year, he can fix it with the money that we will have and the draft picks that we have. He cannot, ignore the position for the first 6 rounds of the draft. Has to be one of your early picks in this year's draft, whether it's the 2nd or the 3rd round. And I want to see multiple offensive linemen drafted. It's a position we need to start to get younger at and much better. But we'll see how it plays out, and hopefully they can perform better over the last 5 games of the season, even though, I think probably next year Solder will shift to the right tackle, and I expect to see 2 new offensive linemen in the starting lineup. I think both guards will be here. I think you'll have a new center and probably a new left tackle, whether it's in free agency or the draft. But we also got to get more depth. Our backups are horrible too. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.